Hi, I'm Christina Trauthwein. I'm Editor-in-Chief of Hotel Business, and I am here right now with Geoff Andrew, and he's the CEO of World Hotels. Welcome.
Thank you.
So before we talk about anything else, tell me a little bit about World Hotels.
Sure. Well, World Hotels is an organization that's been now around for 50 years. In fact, we're going to celebrate our 50th anniversary next year.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. And we are basically a collection of upper upscale luxury hotels. We have 3 collections. So there's 300 hotels across 3 collections: luxury, elite, and distinctive. And basically, as World Hotels, our job is to provide business. You know, we've always been an organization where bringing independence under one umbrella is an opportunity to drive more business and compete against the big guys in the industry.
Okay. So you recently were acquired by Best Western Hotels and Resorts.
Yes.
So let's talk about the acquisition a little bit.
All right. No, this is a really exciting phase actually now in our history. And before I speak specifically about the acquisition, just in terms of the context of what's happening, I mean, I think independent hotels have a long and proud history. We love independence, but the challenge you've always got as an independent hotel, or even as an independent hotel organization, is simply one these days of scale. You know, it's great to have the independence, the autonomy. That's the joy of being in the independent sector. But actually, when you need to be driving market share and you're finding your way in an extremely aggressive competitive environment, then the one thing that you don't have as a smaller organization is the scale to compete. And the bigger getting bigger, we all know that. Yeah. So when the opportunity came up for us to be acquired into what is now being termed the BWH Hotel Group, with Best Western as obviously the core brand, it really was seen by all of us as just a tremendous opportunity. I think it actually changes the nature of what an independent organization might look like going forward, because it gives you as a hotel operator and owner, gives you a great opportunity to say, okay, what do I want to do with my hotel? I love the idea of being independent, but I need the resources to really succeed. So this acquisition gives us the chance to be within one of the top 10 hotel chains with access to those resources, so our hotels can get that business they're looking for. At the same time, for BWH, strategically, for them, what it means is they now have the top tier, and now a genuine multi-tier organization selling up and down the brand scale, which is terrific for the broader organization.
Definitely. So you mentioned about being, individual and distinctive and having that type of personality. How will World Hotels maintain that under the BW umbrella? Yeah,
I think this is a really important issue for our members, but it is also something that is fully recognized by the senior team, David Kong and Dorothy Dowling and the whole team within BWH. We have to maintain that distinctiveness. So what that means is, although we will obviously tap into the resources of BW, they're already there, all the branding and the positioning will all be done on a white label basis. An example of that would be the Best Western Rewards program, which is very successful, been around for many years, has now been rebadged for our purposes as World Hotels Rewards, and everything will be done under the World Hotels banner. Equally, there will be individual services, particularly in the luxury sector, which will be very specific to World. There'll be, for example, trade events and promotions where we will specifically continue to exhibit or promote as World Hotels rather than under the group.
Okay, so you mentioned scale, you mentioned their loyalty program. How else will World Hotels benefit from their partnerships and their global distribution, networking, marketing support?
Yeah, I mean, all of those things. I mean, I feel like a kid in a candy store at the moment. There are so many opportunities. Every time I open a door, there's something new, and I'm going, "Ooh, yeah, I'll have one of those and 2 of those." But just to give you an example on the sales side, I mean, we're now enjoying a sales organization of over 200 people now selling my hotels, which I could never have got there in any time soon. There's depth in not just the sales people on the ground, but the whole sales function and analysis that sits behind all that, and the account management. loyalty program we've spoken about. There's all the online resources. There's a whole, a huge marketing team that has, some of the things that we were doing before, but on a scale times 10. So it really has been is being a transformational change for us, which can only benefit our members.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this all grows. So speaking of growth, how will Best Western's expertise and brand strength help grow World Hotels?
Well, first and foremost, at a very basic level, there's just a lot more development people out there. And because of this, again, the existing size of the BWH group, so there's a whole area of relationships that's opening up now, and multiple number of people that are now selling World Hotels to put us on the map. North America, for us, has never been a really strong market. We've always been here. But Europe and Asia, I would say...
Are you looking to grow more in North America?
Absolutely. Okay. I mean, this, for me, is one of the most obvious opportunities for growth. If we talk specifically, we've always had a reasonable footprint in the biggest cities, and New York particularly. Especially, we do well historically in cities that have a good international component to their market. But I think now, with the presence of the whole group, our opportunity is to grow into multiple US markets.
What makes a World Hotels property? How is it defined? What are some signature elements, services?
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about the independent market is that you're not looking for one defined element. It really is a case of looking for just a hotel that is of the right quality.
So how do you determine that quality? Why would you want that hotel within your portfolio?
Right, good question. We do have a rigorous quality assurance process. So before any hotel comes in, and once they're in on a regular basis, we are shopping, we are monitoring their scores and their reviews. So we have a process to begin with by which a hotel is allocated to the appropriate collection. And that's a combination of factors to do with rate, to do with customer feedback scores, to do with our own quality shops, mystery shops that we do. So that area is regulated quite tightly. But in terms of how a hotel is operated, these are becoming a little bit cliche terms these days, but what's fascinating for me is the rest of the industry has suddenly caught on in the last 5 years to
I think I know where you're going with this, yes.
Yeah. So for the last few years, I've really been using the phrase, true independence, because there are plenty of independent brands out there, the soft brands that I would question to what degree they truly are independent. But if you've got a really authentic product that is, let's say typically privately owned, it's a passion project for somebody that has produced a personal statement. There's something very authentic about that.
And that translates to the guests.
Oh, it's massively in demand, and it has been growing, and the internet, despite the fact that there's some big players out there and it's hard to find your route through it, has been a huge boon to independence, because it's given people a level of confidence about staying somewhere new that they would never, in fact, not just a level of confidence, it's actually brought about a huge enthusiasm for finding something new, so you can go and tell all your colleagues and tell your friends.
Well, you said about the internet or social media,
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that, word of mouth stay.
Yeah, and typically once you get to that, and let's use old language, once you get to that 4.5, 5-star hotel, there is something about that stay that goes beyond just basic expectations being met. There is something special going on. It's iconic, historic. There's something about the service, there's something about the rooftop bar, there's something about the views that makes you want to say, I'm going to tell everybody about this. And that's something we've always had, and now everybody's realised that that's
I was going to say, more and more people are looking for that, so you're in the right spot.
Yeah, finally everybody else is caught up. Feels good in some ways, and then suddenly you find it's a very crowded market space.
That's true.
But we've been doing it a long time.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Right? Yeah, well, exactly.
That's what they say.
We've been doing it 50 years, so we know what we're doing, right?
Great. Thank you so much for your time, Geoff.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Okay.